that was awkward. So here's the recap so far. This is a matchup where Quince has very strong heavy attack options with Patriot Mirror, and we don't see it yet, but his Queen right to beat throws. Has dodges to get around Trock's bevy of fast attacks with his J's, Q's, and Ace. Trock has obviously good throws to keep your Quince grounded to stop him from dodging. And my favorite interaction in the matchup is War Stomp against Positive Spin. Because all of Quince's strong setups with the Positive Spin involve dodge with some extent, either because the J and the K have a dodge on them, or because the other end of the Queen mix-up has a dodge, the War Stomp diffuses the mix-up if Bomber is not knocked down. But the Patriot Mirror here outspeeds a 4, probably expecting a 5 attack to try to beat a King, since that will beat normal attacks with speed 5.0 and faster, and Trock's 4 attack is good for that. But Patriot Mirror doesn't really care. So for instance, let's say he doesn't get a knockdown here, you'll get to see the War Stomp interaction, because he'll be positive spinning with a J. Alright. Gets the correct block, so that setup is dodge and mix-up normal, which is completely safe. If Trock had attacked with anything, the dodge would beat the attack. If Trock had chosen to throw, including with his King, the 6 would have hit it. And if he blocked odd, the 6 would beat it. And as you saw, he blocked correctly, so Quince can dodge and not give Trock a giant growth on a card. Make sure everything's still working. Cool. So right now, neither side's terribly in any danger. Both players have taken like 1 solid hit's worth of damage. Quince's hand's pretty solid with 2 face cards and access to an ace, and a 2 truths, which he can use at any time. Gets his 10 I don't agree with using 10s in the neutral game. If he actually wanted to throw, he could use his 8 or his 9, which is faster but functionally identical in this matchup. 10 throw does not outspeed any of Trock's throws naturally. And it's better to hold on to the 10 so you can use it during your positive spin turns. So for instance, if he does a King spin, he can do a flagstone tax naming throws, so that if Trock tries to outspeed the King, then he gives Quince 2 cards. But the Gold Burst attempt does get attached. Don't agree with Gold Burst in this matchup because dodge triple ace is so strong. Notice now how Bomber actually has 3 War Stomps and a 9, which are also functionally, the War Stomps are also dodges. So being able to Joker away 45 damage is stronger than getting aces. Not sure what he's trying to dodge into. I'm guessing his 5 throw for 9 damage and a knockdown. So don't forget, when Trock does block an attack or a Joker, the block attaches to his character card instead of returning, and his normal attacks and normal throws deal more damage. So currently he has a 6 of spades attached to his character card because of the successful block. Silmerion has a good hand for just getting some sort of hit. He just has to gauge whether Trock is going for another giant growth or whether he's going for a block. So whether he's going for a throw. For the most part, Trock's not going to be using his really fast attacks until he's in disadvantage time. But I think the face down here was actually a J, the 2.2 end. Yep. Thought he was going to go for the second giant growth. Takes minimal damage, it's only 7. The ability is not very relevant in this matchup because it's really only good against characters with really fast normals, and Quince's only normal that's really going to matter against this card all is his 2, which is never being used as a normal. So I like to think of this more as a combo move, a neutral move in this matchup. You can do cross up normal onto the 10 side, or you can do throw J, the one on the 1 combo point side. Oof! That's pretty gross. So it's probably going to be 6J, positive spin either, 6 or positive spin. Waiting on the face down. Not real. Deal 6. He'll probably spin J. Spin K against Grappler is a little dicey, yeah. Little does he know that Bomber does in fact have a War Stomp, 3 War Stomps available, which he's going to use one now. So now the J is no longer a real mix-up, because if he tries to spin it to dodge, the dodge will be ineffective because he's knocked down. He might try to go for it anyway. Yeah, that's not going to do anything though. He's just going to get the card and take 7, which is fine. The cool thing about spinning J in this case though was that Bomber only had 1 card that was going to beat spin J, unless he wanted a chance at Gold Burst. All of his other cards would actually get outsped by the 2.6 speed of the J. Two War Stomps remain, so that's 2 more spins he can defuse. Oof. So here's the thing, what Bomber knows is that Silmerion's going to try to get a knockdown or a Patriot Mirror, which also knocks down. So he can try to get stronger setups that can't be War Stomped. So notice that even with the kind of minuscule damage from that, from the days, that he just did a 17 damage throw, and now Silmerion's at less than a third of his life total. Access to 2 aces, a 7, a power-up. He's dodging so much, and he's getting tossed relentlessly. He's playing very scared of Queen and J, when actually, what Bomber can get off his throws with Trock is not quite as bad. Like, okay, let's say he tried, like, I don't know, swing with the J, for instance, instead. Like, again, he's gonna die here unless he has the other Joker, which he doesn't. But you look at this, like, he's taking so much damage from throws because he's playing so scared of the fast attack. And right now, if Bomber plays just a Queen, yeah, Quince has to block. If he'd done anything else to try to get out of the situation, he would have lost the first game. He now has a power-up for Ace stat. See, now he's at a range where he has to dodge, where he wasn't really before. War Stomp. Yep, that's the thing. And he can... So here's the question. Is he going for the 2 damage from Fast J or Q? Or is he going for the 3 damage from the Slow J? Because Slow J kills on chip here. Yep. Oh, we're going for a set play? So he's going to try for another War Stomp and do Fast J. Nope. That's checkmate, unless he draws a Joker. Yep, that's checkmate. Ace at this point wins the game. Quince doesn't have anything that speeds it, nor does Silmerion have a Joker. He could try to play 2 trues to find one. But this is why using the Joker earlier was a mistake. Having the Joker would have prevented this situation from being checkmate. So that's first game to Bomber678. After Silmerion took roughly 1,000 damage from throws. And also got set played on by all the War Stomps. That was a very, very solid ender from Bomber678. And a very strong use of War Stomp. You know, I should actually probably check my chat. Apparently we're having some volume issues. So Silmerion also has a Degree. But I feel like Quince has a strong matchup against Trock if the match is played correctly. Okay, I have that muted. We have 5 viewers right now. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We have 3 chatters, apparently, of which I can't see the chat log because I just joined. If there are any technical issues with the stream, please let me know. Sticking with Quince, gets his 6, Jade, it's whatever. Now that he's had the fear of get thrown for all of my life put to me. Oh, Jesus! So that means that Bomber's opening hand has 6, 6, 7, 7, 7, has 1 throw in it, so this is actually a pretty blocky hand. If he had more throws, he could threaten very high damage off throws very early, and he draws his first War Stomp. Quince has a Patriot Mirror. He also is very throw-heavy. So this is another situation where War Stomp is very strong. Right, so the draw is a king, right? So now he can choose the Patriot Mirror here. He's going to name a Flagstone tax on throwing, meaning he's going for block 8, I'm thinking, or because he doesn't want to use the J dodge. But again, Bomber could have War Stomped. Safe setup. He goes for the attack block. He was trying to catch a king and just 6 it in the face and draw 3 cards off the normal draw and off the Flagstone tax, but Bomber didn't bite. Gets a pretty unfortunate top deck with the 3, because the 3 would lose to Lockhorn Skewer. Soft buzz in the audio. Unfortunately, my headset actually has a problem with the microphone, so there's not a whole lot I can do with that. I'm sorry. So, I mean, this is pretty common in Quince's matchups. This is the part in the game where Quince has the hardest time. Another very questionable Gold Burst. He really needs the rewind time, and if he needs a Gold Burst, it's going to be for much later. And now he can 3 if he really wants to, and immediately threaten dodge into Beast Unleashed, which would put Silmerion at 23. He's going to choose to hold on to the 7s instead. He could actually go for something silly with a 6, 7, 8 straight, and then power 2 7s, but I don't think he'll do that. He's just going to go for big throws. Gets punched. Okay. I think if I'm Silmerion here, I just take the 3 damage and then spin the J. So gets the touch. It spins the K instead. Okay. So this is probably an apt time for a War Stomp, given the size of Bomber's hand. Yep. Gets the 4th 7, so now he can actually power 3 7s without feeling too bad about it. Then he still has access to the big straight. Chooses to use the 2 truths, which is the other problem I had last game, was that Silmerion held on to the 2 truths forever. And so it didn't really do very much. So I believe that the 9Q pile is actually significantly less valuable. The reason why is the 6 is Quince's only even mix-up normal. There's a Flagstone tax and there's a dodge. Whereas if you compare here, you get a block. I guess he really needs a non-block, so that's fair. And he gets a queen. But I think overall the reward you get from the other pile is too high. If you think he's going to go for an odd mix-up normal, you can just chuck your J at him. Oof. And that's a 10 damage throw now because the 2 giant growth stacks. That's actually a throw for 20. Which puts him into very close to lethal range if he gets hit by Beast Unleashed. Oh, he's gonna get a very blatant Beast Unleashed setup here. Or it can be 2 Eagle Totems for 40, which would also be a lot of damage. especially since he has a queen. So this is a very scary situation. If he does blow a Beast Unleashed into nothing, it's much less scary, because then Quinns can kind of play the game again. But right now, it's pretty frightening. Silmerion does have a known queen, though, which I think he's really tempted to play. And he's gonna get booped for 7, and now he's within straight up. I get killed by triple ace. Scootaloo, soft buzz, you say. Clipping microphone, turn down that gain. Let me take a look here. Sorry. Yeah, you get to see my settings here. Apply. This should actually solve it. Yep, gets war stomped again, because that's awkward. So, triple ace is lethal. And it looks like it's what we're going for. The question is, will Silmerion block it? Because he's scared of the queen or the double ace. And that is game 2 in pretty brutal fashion. Quick 2-0 lead for Bomber678 off of a Power of a Beast Unleashed. Unfortunately, the throw didn't really beat either end of that mix-up, because either Bomber is going to drop a double ace, or is going to drop a triple ace, and the K-throw loses to both. Counterpick to Valerie. This match is pretty interesting. Chromatic Orb beats most of Track attacks, except for his queen. It also trades unfavorably with his ace-ace. Also, Track Armor stops Burst of Speed Normal from being very strong, but in exchange, Burst of Speed King is much stronger. Gonna go for a Bold Strokes early. Depending on the normal draw, he might get quite a bit of damage off this. He's going to at least find one ace. The problem with using high normals like that is he is going to lose out on... Okay, he's going to just let the Joker ride. So that's a common Valerie tactic, where you trade your 7 for a Joker, effectively, because they're scared of you having, like, a 6 normal hand on the first turn. So you use your 7, make your normal do a little bit more damage, and trade it for your opponent's Joker, under the logic that you have 4 7s and they have 2 Jokers. Also in this matchup, that's fine, because your 7 isn't a trump throw against Trock. Much improved. Excellent. Thank you very much. Whereas in other matchups, trading your 7 away might be a little scary if you don't have access to Burst of Speed, because that's usually your trump throw in the matchup. So looking at Bomber's hand, it's very, very, very throw heavy, and he has a War Stomp. But gets the second block scouted out and scooped up. So I would go for here. Obviously, he doesn't have much he can do off the throw right now, but he gets resource denial. So he can go for knockdown, and off that knockdown, he can either just play an ace, or he can play a normal. Not to his knowledge, but right now, if he top... Okay, so if Valerie has a 4... No, she has 6 with Burst of Speed, actually beats every option in Bomber's hand at this exact moment. Because it would be a 4.2 speed, even normal, which beats everything in his hand. So he actually has a combat checkmate effectively, but it's a very risky one, if you don't know Trock's hand composition. Goes to the 6... Oh, that's tragic. 6 blocks instead and gets thrown. And that's a throw for 17. The other reason that Valerie goes even in this matchup compared to other throw-heavy grappler characters, who she usually does very well against, is, if you think about the other grapplers, I do not disagree with losing the king. You need the king against, to be your anti-block mix-up a lot of the time. Because Valerie only has 80 life, but a character like Rook can't really take advantage of that. because he's going to top out at about 20 damage per combat win, and his throws top out at 15 unless he has Checkmate Buster. He does either 10 or 15 off a throw. Trock can do 20 off of a throw, and he also has a much more reliable way to deal 45 off of a throw mix-up with throw or dodge, which Valerie cannot burst his speed into. Also, because of the loss of burst of speed in Chromatic Orb, Trock having an attack faster than Chromatic Orb away from his aces makes Chromatic Orb less awkward for him to deal with than for Rook, who only can outspeed it with Wall of Vines or by potentially losing a special block. So Valerie's Queen becomes much more important in this matchup as a result, because it's just the fastest attack in the matchup at 0.2, even though it doesn't do very much damage. So Bomber does get another block attached. So now his throw game is extraordinarily scary. Silmerion's hand is one of those, ew, I'm Valerie, my hand isn't very good hands. She does have a high normal. She has 2 10s. That's good. The problem is that she doesn't really have any damage potential after the normals, and if she blows all the normals in a straight, her hand's going to look something like Queen, 9, 2 10s, a Joker, and Ace, which isn't outstanding unless she gets an outstanding normal draw. Again, I look at Trock's hand, I see a couple dodges, I see a single ace, which the 5s might eventually just turn into a mix-up once he gets another chunk of damage onto Silmerion. Has another Joker, in case Silmerion starts threatening actual high damage with Valerie. Let me check my frame count. I have a few too many drop frames, 351 of them. My internet's really iffy. Well, does block his way out of a pre-if hand. Now his 2 queens. Has a 7 now for more digging potential. Bomber did draw another queen, though. Because of the change to burst speed again during development, Valerie cannot burst speed her way past a queen. She either has to block or dodge it, or beat it with a queen of her own. Nope, that's not going to do it. Nine. So that is a triple ace mix-up in the hand. Has 2 dodges, has 3 aces. Not much more you can ask for when you're a big, scary cow. Ooh, he's... Yeah, okay. Finally uses the king to good effect. The block end would have lost, interestingly enough, but not much incentive to block. So here's the scary part, right? Because he doesn't get the normal draw from the king, and because the king doesn't count as normal for the purpose of aces, dropping normals here is a bit riskier. He only gets 1 ace. No damage. He gets 6 damage and 1 ace. Which, again, trades unfavorably if Bomber decides to use his Eagle Totem side instead of Beast Unleashed. So double J here is very, very good. The J's do Valerie's burst of speed, my normal trick. Looks like Bomber's going to go for an additional throw before he attempts to go for a Beast Unleashed. Probably using Silmerion's Sphere, trading badly with Eagle Totem. Nope, just gonna queen. Not gonna think too hard about it. Obviously, since Bomber doesn't have a 3rd Joker, now any combat you're not gonna see more face downs. Again, has to work his way out of a very awkward Valerie hand. He has 2 9s and 8. An ace, a queen, and a Joker. This is not outstanding. Ooh, top deck king gets chromatic orbed. which is one way of getting out of a bad hand. Deal 10 damage, draw a card. Draws the second Joker, so now this does mean that Silmerion's more apt to go to a swing until I get a face down. These are the first 9. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Has 2 Jokers, though. Does have the second Joker. Bomber might well scout. Oh, he doesn't scout it correctly. He's going to lose 45 damage, but get his pair of 6s back. So now, because he used Beast Unleashed, he got the 6s back, but now he is back to being relatively weak Trock. His cards now just do the damage printed, so his throw 8 instead of being 20 now does 16. Uses the trip 9s to get access to Ace. So now he has 2 Chromatic Orbs or a throw into Masterpiece. This also makes his Jacks less frightening, because the Aces are just going to go through Trock Armor. Yep, reads that Bomber really wants to get his Giant Growth back and get Power Fodder for Aces to try to make some up again. And just going to, use the Aces to draw out of this hand and now get to a much better hand. So he turned a very, very ugly Valerie hand into a much better one and also converted into damage, which is about the best you can hope for in that situation. He also avoided getting destroyed by Beast Unleashed. Now neither player has Joker, so this becomes a much more volatile matchup. Draws a Red King, which I would basically windmill slam right now. Yeah, so it's going to beat Trock Armor because he can burst of speed it through a Jack. He can do like K336J plus or K336J and keep the Queen. Also, he will be getting an Ace off of this combat. Let me see. 12, 18, 14. He will not quite be dead, but he will be close. 18 plus 14 is 32. Deciding. Okay, he decides not to use the JQ, which would leave Bomber at 3 life, but instead he is now left in kill range of Masterpiece, which obviously he doesn't have. But he can try to bluff that his hand is more throw heavy. Oh, anyway.